Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Limited. And today, I'm gonna review it for you guys. This truck stickers for nearly $87,000, making it one of the most expensive full-size pickup trucks I've ever reviewed. And sure, there are a lot of luxury bells and whistles on this truck, but does it justify that $87,000 price tag? Well, let's find out together. I love Ram trucks for a couple of different reasons. For starters, I think they've always been really sharp looking, and this 2025 is no different, as we'll talk about in a minute. But also because some of my favorite memories from shooting videos on this channel are Ram trucks. One of my most popular videos is a Ram Limited review, and that was also the first video to ever be monetized on this channel. And my favorite cutaway joke of all time is a Ram joke.
When Abraham took Isaac to be an atoning sacrifice, the Lord didn't provide a Silverado or an F-150 in his place. He provided a Ram with best-in-class reliability and long-term durability. The Ram 1500 will get you out of any bind, sometimes literally.
Rams will always hold a very special place in my heart. This 2025 might just be the most luxurious Ram I've ever reviewed. It might be the most luxurious truck I've ever reviewed. There are so many features packed into this thing. So let's get started. Up front here, this is a mid-cycle refresh, so the overall front end looks slightly different from the outgoing model, but as I said, I think it still looks very sharp. You'll get LED headlights right here with LED daytime running lights that double as your LED turn signals, and then further down here, you will have LED fog lights. You'll get parking sensors that dot the bottom portion of the front end. There are tow hooks down here, and you also get a sensor pad for the safety system that's included on this truck. And then moving up into the grille, Ram has foregone the crosshair grille design that they used to be known for. But as I've said a couple times now, I still think it looks very good. Ram is spelled out in the grille, and then you'll have a camera at the bottom of the A here that is incorporated into your 360-degree camera system, and it also does work as a standalone front camera. So if you're pulling forward, maybe there's a curb in front of you, you can pop that camera on and see how close you're getting. That's very useful, especially in a truck this big. Moving underneath the hood in the 1500, gone is the 5.7-liter Hemi V8, now replaced with Dodge's new 3-liter high-output Hurricane Inline 6, which makes a staggering 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque. And that is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. As for fuel economy on this truck, the EPA estimates 15 city, 21 highway, and during my testing this week, I averaged 17.1. Moving to the profile of the Ram, there is a cavalcade of exciting features to talk about here, but I want to start with the wheels and tires. You'll get Bridgestone Dueler HLs. Those are 275/55 tires around these 20-inch wheels. Now, in the past, Ram has offered 22-inch wheels here on the Limited, but I actually like this 20-inch wheel a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more subdued, and it's a nice design. Over here, it says Ram, and then Limited is etched into this chrome strip that continues along the profile. Then up here, this says 1500, and this stands for Straight 6 Turbo High Output. Then you'll have a chrome mirror cap right here, a turn signal indicator, a camera down here for the 360-degree camera system, little puddle light, and then these mirrors have a little tiny blind spot mirror incorporated in, but you also get blind spot monitoring, and they are heated as well as power adjusting, and they're power folding. So when you lock the vehicle, you can tap that and lock the vehicle. that will fold the mirrors in. That's especially useful on a vehicle of this size. But I'm gonna unlock it again quick. You can see this has keyless entry. Opening the doors, you can also see there is power running boards, which is awesome. You open up the front or the rear, the running boards will deploy. And as you can see, if you give it a second, they fold right back in, and they are very low profile. You have excellent ground clearance right there. But we will return to that ground clearance in a little bit. First, I want to talk about the rear. You'll have parking sensors down here, dual exhaust, and your tow hitch. It's absolutely not just a luxury truck. You can totally use this to tow. And then you have a little step that kicks out down here to allow you better access up into the bed. And then you can just tap that back up there and it'll pop back into place. You'll have your limited badge, Ram badge, and 4x4 badge. There's a backup camera right here, and then there's a little sensor you can tap that will drop the tailgate, giving you access in here. You'll get a spray and bed liner and some LED lights in here, though unfortunately this one does not come equipped with an outlet in the bed. A little bit disappointing, especially for the price range, but it is absolutely a very functional bed. Now, there's even more function built in that you might not have initially noticed. So you can see there's a line right here in the tailgate. If you tap this, you can actually swing this part of the tailgate open. And then there's a handle letting you open this up for a more barn door type experience. You can walk up to it and load things in a little bit easier because you're able to get into the bed in a much more simple way. And then you can close that up. Oh wait, I did it the wrong way. You have to do it this way first. There is a little bit of a process with it. That side has to close and then that side closes. So there might not be an outlet, but there is some cool functionality still incorporated into the rear there. Before I step into the interior of the truck, I want to talk about the key fob quickly. This might be the craziest key fob of any vehicle I have ever reviewed on this channel.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Just due to the sheer amount of features that are packed into this thing. In addition to the standard lock, unlock, and panic, everybody has lock, unlock, and panic, you also have remote start, which is always a nice feature to see. You can start and stop the truck from the key fob if you want. You also have the ability to lower the tailgate from here. Now, some trucks do offer the ability to also lift the tailgate automatically, but here you have to do it manually, though that's not much of a chore. It is a very light tailgate, and it's always cool to see a feature like that regardless. But by far, the most impressive feature on this key fob, one of the most impressive features with the truck in general, has to do with its current ride height. As I mentioned before, it is very high right now. That's because this has air suspension and it's in off-road 2, its highest available adjustment. But if you want to lower the air suspension, you can do that from the key fob. All you have to do is double tap this button right here. And as you can see, maybe you can hear it, it is lowering the suspension. It will bring the truck down to its lowest available entry. And it does it pretty quick. It might be popping up on camera. It might be a little too slow for the camera unless I speed it up. But it is impressively fast for the most part. As you can see, the truck is almost completely down already. And then I believe that's just about going to be it. And it's in its lowest configuration. There you go. And the power running boards still do deploy. If you'd like that ease of access, you can still use those and they can help you to get inside even with the ride height lowered. But I am blown away by that feature. It is so cool. Moving to the interior of the Ram 1500 Limited, there are so many features in here. I cannot wait to show you everything. I'm going to start with the door panel though, and then we'll move throughout the rest of the cabin. This is soft touch up here. This is also soft touch down here, giving you two different options for a nice place to rest your arm. And then I'd like to just appreciate the fit and finish of this door panel very quickly. I think Ram has the nicest interiors of any truck currently on the road right now. I just love the attention to detail. It's so nice. And then you'll have your window controls right here, your mirror controls, your lighting controls. There's a button down here to bring forward and push back the pedal. So if you're taller or shorter, you can adjust that for better comfortability when you're sitting here in the driver's seat. And then you have your electronic parking brake down there as well. Memory settings right here for the seats. And then if you tap this button and we go over to the screen, that's going to pull up the massaging setting for the driver's seat. The passenger seat also has that as well. You can pull this up through this menu too if you'd like to access both seats. It's incredible. There are quite a few different modes you can cycle through: waterfall, rock climb, and they're all very comfortable. I so dearly appreciate the massaging functionality in this truck. It's a really nice touch. I love when a vehicle offers this, and it's cool to see here. In addition to that, your seats are also power adjusting up front with power lumbar support, and they are heated and ventilated, and the steering wheel is also heated. So that's another nice little luxury touch. Now, we'll return to this screen in a moment, but I'd like to talk about the steering wheel first and the screen that I have here. So this steering wheel is very comfortable, very nicely wrapped. You'll have your drive modes down here, your gear limiter, and then on the back of the steering wheel, you'll have the buttons for the volume adjustment, and the other side has channel changing. You only get one stock here. Your turn signals and windshield wipers are all incorporated into this. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but it does work pretty well. Now, there's this little sensor right here, and that's actually for Ram's active drive assist. So this makes sure you're paying attention while the truck is driving, just in case you need to take over. So it's not a full self-driving mode, but you do have some cool functionality there if you're on the highway. This also has traditional radar guided cruise control as well. And then these buttons control the center gauge cluster screen. As you can see, it's on my favorite part of the screen, the map. You can pull up navigation on here and look at it from the screen. That's very useful. Of course, there's quite a few other useful menus on here that you can cycle through: digital speedometer and tachometer, and then a couple of different things that you can go to. This also has a heads-up display, if you're reading that right there. It's here on the windshield. I don't know how well you can see it. You can see it okay right there. If I pull up the radar guided cruise control, I can kind of choose to have the follow distance, and then that appears right there. It's pretty simplistic compared to some other vehicles' heads-up displays, but it's nice that it's there. I like that it's an option, especially for the price point. And then, as you can see right here, it says Off-Road 2 down here. That is the air suspension. You can adjust that from the screen right there. So if I tap down, it will start lowering the truck, and you can see that pops up on there. So there's a lot of cross functionality between the screens. You know, you tap something here, it's going to tell you on there, and so on. So it's slowly lowering it. See, it put it down to Off-Road 1. If I kept tapping that button, it would continue to lower the truck. Now, moving on, you have your push button start right here, your drive mode selector, and your four-wheel drive settings. Yes, this is your drive mode selector. If you put your foot on the brake and you turn, it will shift between the different drive modes. And I've found if you spin really quick, it'll actually just go from park right to drive and back and forth. So there's a little bit of a nifty ability in there. I've gotten used to it. It wasn't initially my favorite, but it really isn't that bad. A lot of people complain about it. I think it's fine. I don't need a full center tunnel shifter. It would be nice to have a third seat in the middle here instead of this massive storage tunnel if they are going to take the shifter out, but you do still get a lot of storage here regardless. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Auto engine start stop, your axle lock button right here. And then while I have this in reverse, I'll talk about the backup camera. You have a 360-degree top-down view, and it does have guiding lines that turn as you turn the wheel. You can also zoom in to just have that camera or the front camera if you want. There really is a lot of customization. And I like that this actually gives you the option of 2 auxiliary cameras. So you can put cameras on this thing that aren't even here yet. I don't know where you'd want to put a camera on a truck that already has a 360-degree camera system. Maybe underneath. I know some trucks have that, but I don't know if I'd want to take this off-roading as the nice limited trim. But I like that you have the functionality there. And while we're on this screen, I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. This is the new 14.5-inch screen available on this mid-cycle refresh of the Ram 1500 on higher trims. The previous large screen was a 12-inch, and I believe it's still optional on certain trucks, but this is one of the top trims, so it gets this bigger screen. I want to talk about the climate controls really quickly, because you have to go into the screen to turn on the heated seats, the ventilated seats, and I don't love that. It's just something I've complained about in a lot of vehicles recently. I prefer to have a physical button that I can just click, because while I'm paying attention to the road, I know where the button is, I can just go click it. Instead, I have to take my eyes off the road to navigate through the menus, and that seems more dangerous to me. And so I'm not a fan of that, but this does have physical buttons for most of the climate control functionality. If you want to raise your fan speed, you can do that right here. Those are physical buttons. If you'd like to raise or lower the temperature, you can do that. And then if you click mode right here, that will cycle through where the air is coming out from a physical button. So the main climate control functions are here as physical buttons on the side of the screen. So I really do appreciate that. And they're even over here for the dual zone for the passenger. So I do like that they have those buttons incorporated in as physical switches. You'll have traction control off and your hazards up here, and then lane keep assist is off right now as well. And then moving down here, the screen does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is very spiffy, very quick. Navigation, of course, is built in. And then you do have a couple of other media settings, Sirius XM, FM, stuff like that. But it's a pretty simplistic screen, all things considered. It gives you everything that you need and doesn't overcomplicate things. But now it's in a larger form factor, which is nice. Down here, you'll have trailer brake control and then trailer steering. That's kind of like hybridly built into the screen, because these are like digital buttons, but down here there are physical ones. And then the aforementioned air suspension, you can continue to lower that. If I tap that again, it's telling me on this screen right there, it's lower in the truck. And then eventually those orange dots will go down, as you can see right there. You'll have USB, USB-C, auxiliary, and HDMI, which is really nice. You can plug that in, because we're going to talk about the screen over there. All right, we're over in the passenger seat. I snapped myself over here. And just like the Spanish Inquisition, I bet you weren't expecting a little screen here. Especially as I've gone through the rest of this interior, you might be thinking, I didn't even see that there was a screen here. And that's because it's tinted so the driver can't see it. That is genius. It just looks like a piano black piece of the dashboard here, because you can hook up an HDMI, which gives you pretty much endless possibilities to plug devices in here. And yes, it does play video games. My friend and I hooked up a Nintendo Switch, and it worked. And so you can really have a lot of customization here with whatever device you plug in. And there's a couple of other little features that it has. You can click into the camera views, which is nice. I don't really know why you'd need to use it, but you can. And then going back to the home, you can also plug in a navigation destination. Yes, you could do that on the screen over here, but admit it, It's cooler that it's on this little screen that you have all to yourself as the passenger. It really is unique. You can also hook up headphones to this too. I believe it has Bluetooth that you can like pair headphones right to that. And then FM and AM functionality as well. You can change the stations. It's really cool. But just like the air suspension, it would probably be really expensive to repair if it breaks. Now, let's continue over in the driver's seat. Okay, back in the driver's seat, and continuing on down here, you can see there is some nice storage. If you tap these, you have 2 cup holders and your coin spot right there. And then if you push this, you can open this section up for even more storage. And then there is a 115 volt AC power outlet down there. I know it's pretty dark, but it is there. And then you get spots for 2 wireless phone chargers right there, which is always nice to see. Pulling this forward and then opening the armrest, you have these like schematic designs right here. And then down here, you have a little divider you can fold up and fold down with pictures of the different Rams on them, and even more storage right here. And then you can actually split open this armrest, and there's one little USB if you'd like to hide a device in here and charge it. And then this armrest is just as finely finished as the door panels and the rest of this interior. It truly is incredibly luxurious. Even the driver's side grab handle has a little leather stitched wrap. It's so thoughtful. As we move further up, you have a traditional mirror here, but if something is obstructing your vision in the rear seats, maybe you have cargo or people, you can flip this up and that turns into a camera, which is so nice. Love that functionality. And then that flips back into a normal mirror if you want. And then you have your SOS emergency assistance up here. Your ability to drop the tailgate from in here is also up here. And then you can tap this button to open up the rear power sliding glass. Now this truck is not optioned with a panoramic moonroof. It is available, but this one doesn't have it. If it did though, I'm pretty sure this truck would be pushing $90,000. So without it, it's almost $87,000. I have to imagine that's probably around a $2,000 option. So this truck can very easily get up there in price, even more than it already is. Even with all these features, there is a couple of things this doesn't have. And then there's an even more premium version of the truck that's above this for 2025. Their new version, the Tungsten, it's even more luxurious, if you can believe that. That pretty much wraps up the front seats though. Let's take a look at the back. Moving to the rear seats, I don't have to snap to teleport back here. Let's not be ridiculous. I just teleport normally. There is a ton of features here too. Ram did not skimp on the rear. The door panels are just as finely appointed as they are up front. And I really like some of the cool features. For example, you have your little Ram bin down here. That is hidden storage in the truck, and it's also removable. So if you wanted to put drinks in there, you can actually pull this out, and that will give you the ability to like dump it if you had ice or whatever in it. That's really neat. And then the back seats fold up. You can fold the entire rear up. It's gonna fall, but you know, you get the gist. If you want, you can fold up the entire thing to give you a more flush load floor. And then as you'll notice right here, there's little latches. That's because if you're sitting in the seat, you can actually recline the second row. So dropping this down, you can see it does recline a little bit. It's very, very comfortable in here. You have leg room for days. It is incredible. I probably have 5 or 6 inches of leg room, and I'd say I have about 4 inches of headroom or so. It's very, very nice. That's with the seats reclined. So, oh my word, great place to spend time if you're on a long road trip. Then you'll have climate vents back here, cup holders back here. You also have another 115 outlet, USB, USB-C, 2 sets of those actually. And then you have heating and cooling rear seats. It is so rare to see cooling rear seats, but Ram has it here. It's the coolest thing. Pun intended there. I wasn't thinking it as I said it, but then I realized, yeah, that's a pun and we're going for it. You also have the ability to fold this middle seat down for more cup holders and more storage. Like I said, these rear seats are not an afterthought. They are very well thought out and very, very comfortable. All right, getting behind the wheel of the Ram. I'm super excited because I've had the opportunity to drive a few different Ram trucks over the years with a few different engines. Now this one has the new Hurricane Inline 6, and this is the high output version, and so this is my first time driving it, and I've really enjoyed it. I know there might be some apprehension from people watching, thinking, well, how could it possibly be as good as the 5.7 liter V8? That was so good, it was such a reliable and durable engine, and I don't disagree. But this one is just not only powerful, but the acceleration is incredible. Like when I lay on it here, it really, really picks up quite fast. And the braking is nice too. Now, inevitably, every time I review one of these luxury trucks, I get comments like, my first house didn't cost that much money, or my word, I would never use half of those features. And I agree. I don't think most people would use all the luxury features on here, but I think what the truck manufacturers have noticed is people are pivoting towards larger vehicles. And a luxury pickup truck is kind of the Swiss Army knife of vehicles. Think about it. You get the versatility of having a bed and the towing capabilities while also having the luxury car benefits as well. You buy a Ram Limited and you get a BMW and a pickup truck all in one. It's kind of a multi-purpose vehicle. And while most people are probably using the luxury features on this Swiss Army knife of a vehicle far more than they're using the actual towing or bed capacities that are available, they are available. And so I think that's why trucks like this sell so well. They're just very versatile in a lot of different ways, and they can be very useful. They check multiple boxes for a lot of different people. Well, that's just about gonna wrap up my video on this Ram 1500 Limited. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Before I go though, I'd like to mention that I'm a Christian, and if you have any prayer requests, you can leave those in the comment section below. And lastly, I like to close out on a scriptural reading. This week, I'm in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 4. Jesus is speaking here, and he says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." All right, guys, take care. And remember, no matter what vehicle you have, I hope it lasts you a long time and it serves you well. I'll see you next time.